We are very much in the north, and few more words about Tartu University before I go to the topic. We are situated in the second largest city in Estonia, and not in the capital, which is Tallinn, but we also have colleges in 4 other cities: Pärnu, Viljandi, Narva, and there is also one studies taking place in Tallinn. And so that's about Tartu University. And we are in the north, and you may be about, but if you know anything about Estonia, that many people know that it's a very e-friendly country. So I think if it was a joke that if the 2+2 rule, probably most of you know, and 2 people should walk together, having 2 meters apart from other 2 people. There was a joke in Estonia that in Estonia people used to walk alone before having a large distance between other people, and now you have to communicate to 2 people staying together. So Estonians are very much used to e-communication and e-tools. So it was probably a little bit easier for us to start with e-learning. As learning or making a kind of a conclusion of what happened during this last 2 months, I had to look back to the last 20 years. Since I would say that systematically e-learning started in Tartu University in the end of 1990s. Firstly, in the middle of 1990s, we started with some e-courses that were actually globally organized, but they had very elementary tools for that, using email and sharing of files. But with more systematically, we started with web-based courses, and before the crisis started, we had 70% of courses in Moodle environment. By the end of the crisis, there were 80%. Few years ago, we started with providing massive open online courses, and currently there are 26 of them running. And all the other tools that were used during this 20 years are listed here. So basically we had tools and readiness for e-learning were built before the crisis, so it was very easy, I would say, to switch to e-learning. So, and these are just some numbers from last 10 years regarding e-continuing education. As UPCEA is the network for continuing education, then these numbers are maybe relevant also. So I would say that 50% of our continuing education was taking place in e-learning environments, and the big increase in continuing education actually took place due to the massive open online courses that we, as I said, started like 4 or 5 years ago. So that's about the past. A little bit more about the past. So first educational technologist was hired in around 20 years ago, and I would say that this was one of the key questions or key elements in what enabled teachers, also those teachers who didn't like e-learning before, because e-learning was never compulsory in our university. We never said that all courses must have e-support or we just have to do something. So it was always the kind of a support provided and opportunities provided, technologies provided, but never was something made compulsory. So, but as you could see, during last 10 years, the number of courses with e-support was sort of growing steadily. And we always had the approach of blended learning, few totally online courses and only one program that is almost 100% online, actually, but you still have to come twice to Tartu to study educational technology on the master level. And this is only happening during last 3 years. And it has been very successful English taught program, and currently, of course, very relevant in all educational sector. What else we can say about the situation in Tartu regarding e-learning is that when it was asked international student barometer, what is the international research on how international students experience their the university they are studying at. And if we look at how Tartu University students are satisfied or what they are happy about, then virtual learning is certainly the element that they're happy about. That 97% of our students are happy about virtual learning opportunities in Tartu University, compared to maybe other aspects that they may be critical also about. So if we compare Tartu to global, there were around 180 universities globally engaged to this study. Then this is one of our strengths compared to globally, or compared to Estonia, or compared to other European universities. So what happened during last 2 months? In Estonia, the situation of emergency was declared in 12th of March, I think in many countries at the same time. And our universities and schools were given 1 working day and 2 weekend days to react and then to switch to e-learning. So actually we had to do it overnight. And then we started to figure out the solutions. And I would say that as I said, I think it couldn't have been done without this 20 years of experience before. And as I said before already, that before crisis we had 70% of courses with e-support, and after crisis, or currently we have 80%. There was a big jump in video lectures when last year we had produced around 120 video lectures per month, and now it's 10 times more. And the biggest jump was in video seminars. That was really a small activity before. 100 video seminar rooms were opened before the crisis, and by the end of the crisis there are 2,000. So it's quite clear that many teachers who weren't used to e-learning on the everyday basis before had to do that now. And what are our lessons so far? Technical platforms for e-learning. Although we, as a centrally university, supports only limited number of platforms that were listed in one of the earlier slides, then the experience of students was that there are too many, because we don't centrally limit other platforms, so we don't say that you can't use any other platform. Then the students say that there are too many different platforms, and that's something to think about for the future. It would be easier for the students to stick to few. Then surprisingly, we had problems with technical readiness of students. We assume that every student is having a computer and internet access, but it appeared that some of the students managed before with telephone only or the smartphone only. So we supposed it's elementary, but few students needed computer. But as I said before, we never had the policy that e-learning is compulsory. So it meant that some teachers were very active and they asked help from the educational technologists also before, and they were very active in the beginning of crisis to improve their courses and to use additional elements they didn't use before. But the problem was how to reach to the teachers who never used e-learning before, and how to provide proactive support to them, how to find them, how to but of course, it's incredible how many new teachers were sort of got experience in e-learning in this. But this is something that was a lesson for us, how to manage these teachers. Then the quality question, of course, is yes, we switched to e-learning overnight, but students were complaining about the very high workload, because not all teachers were understanding how the workload, how high the workload is in case of individual work. Many teachers were just giving extra reading instead of lectures. And the problem of engagement, as some teachers explained, that it's a kind of a active passiveness. So as in case of current seminar, I see that there are, I don't know, 40 and more participants, but I don't see video videos, all the microphones are switched off, so I don't know what you're actually doing, whether you're listening, whether you are, what are your emotions and so on. So teachers were complaining that it's very easy to stay passive in the seminars in the e-learning mode. And of course, as we had, as I think many other countries and universities had the problem of how to support weaker students, in this case, the question of social support in case of financial difficulties, how to replace missing contacts, how to manage with mental health problems, and all these kind of issues were raised. And but I, as a leader or manager for the university, it's a strange situation. There's a lot of academic freedom regarding content of the studies, but also regarding the format of studies, how you want to organize your courses, how do you want to assess your courses. And now in this new situation where we had to change, I thought we would continue in the same way, that we just provide, as a university, we provide opportunities and the teachers will choose the best of them. But many people wanted that in the case of crisis, there should be clear and simple rules, and somebody should say what we should do and what we should not do. Because if you change and people change in different ways, then there will be a lot of discussions and questions and problems raised about this. And this is actually what happened. That if we say that you can do the exams in face-to-face now in June, or you can do them in e-format, then there are all kind of different load of opinions about that. So it's easier to say that all examinations must be done in environment, for example. And that's something that we are not used to do in the university, to prescribe the teachers. And finally, some thoughts about the future. And the questions are: what we want to change, what we learn from this experience, what is so valuable that we would like to keep, even if the crisis is over, or when the crisis is over, and what we need to change for the fall 2020, considering that the crisis is maybe not over, and we have and certainly the crisis fully is not over, because it's clear that not all international students can reach the university. So what are the discussions? We not finally decided, but I think in a few weeks' time we have to make decisions about that. And what we are proposing is that all lectures in large courses, and large course in our case is more than 100 participants, shall have video lectures. And the video lectures should not be the same format as normal lectures, but rather combined with some tasks or some interactive elements, so to make the video lectures more attractive or easier to follow. Then we have to prepare ourselves to the totally new situation, what we call the hybrid seminars, or the situation where some of the participants are in the classroom, while some of the participants are in distance. So it needs technical readiness and methodological readiness. It's much easier to do the seminars totally online or totally in room, or fully everybody is in the room, but it's much more complicated when some people are in the room and some people are in distance. And this is something that probably will happen in fall, while our international students may have difficulties in coming, at least maybe in the beginning of September. They are not able to all of them come to Estonia, while the Estonian students are here. So we need this kind of opportunities. And third thing, this is something that we were totally not ready. As I said, we were rather well prepared for the crisis regarding our e-learning tools and methodological readiness and support and so on. Then we were not ready at all for e-exams, and especially for proctoring or for following technically students' activities during the exams. And this is something that we have been discussing and finding suitable tools during last few months, and now I think we are ready in this regard also for now, for June, and also for the future. What appeared, we have to widen our educational technology support system. As I said, we currently have 4 people for 15,000 academic staff, which is not enough. As previously, these 4 people had to provide support to the teachers who wanted to do e-learning and who were ready to do, and now they have to support also those who are maybe not so experienced, who are not so motivated. So we are looking for the technical support also by support staff in the faculties. So to increase the number from 4 to maybe 40, not full-time, of course, working in this field, but part-time, including these work tasks also. Then we are preparing to continue in e-learning, maybe fully in English taught programs, as we have difficulties, as I said before already, or the international students may have difficulties to enter Estonia, as in many other countries. And finally, we are thinking about the biggest problem during this spring was how to do practical training courses, and some teachers already invented tools how to rent or how to give mobile, how to give this practical tools to the students to home. So maybe 10 students can do it at home and then bring the tools back. And this is something we want to figure out in how widely it's possible to do that. So, and that's all from me, and I'm very happy if anybody have comments or questions. I hope it's time for that.
Hello, Aune. Thank you very much for your presentation. I would like to tell everybody who is in the room that if you have questions for Aune, please put them on the question and answer box, because after the next presentation, we'll have a kind of 10 minutes questions and answers to them. So I will collect all these questions and make them available. Okay, so we can actually get their answers. So yep. Maybe Aune, you can stop you. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So okay. Now I'm back again, and I would like to introduce. Oh, just hold on. Yeah, I would like to introduce to you the next keynote speaker, and no. Okay, so the next keynote speaker is Ramon Bastida. He is Associate Dean for Knowledge Transfer at Universitat Pompeu Fabra, the Barcelona School of Management. And I have known Ramon, well, we are in the same building and we've seen each other many times for a long time. But it's been recently, in the last year, that we have had a closer contact, because Barcelona School of Management is now partner of one of our projects, one of the projects that we coordinate, called Unilab, and I had the opportunity to work with him a bit closely. The Universitat Pompeu Fabra, for those who are not aware, is a very young university, and probably Ramon will explain this. It's quite young, but it's a very good. It has very good reputation, and is very high in rankings. And I think that is a model of university that, well, somebody studying universities in Spain definitely should look at Universitat Pompeu Fabra and see how they do things. So I'm very happy to welcome Ramon, and I'm now going to give him rights to host us.
Okay. Well, hi everybody. I hope that you could see my screen and you can hear me fine. If not, please send me a message. Well, before I want to thank Carmen. I want to say thanks to Carmen and to eucen for inviting us to participate in this seminar, and I hope that everybody finds safe and well in these times. Well. I think that this seminar, it's well, it's always interesting to share experiences and knowledge with other universities and with people in education, because I think it's a good way to tackle these new challenges, right? Well, I'm going to divide my presentation in four different parts. The first, I'm going to do a brief introduction of Pompeu Fabra University. Then I'm going to talk about the rapid transformation process that we went through in the last month in our management school. Third, I'm going to talk about the COVID lockdown management. I'm going to explain you which were the challenges and which were the measures that we took in order to accomplish the challenges. And then finally, I'm going to do a brief closing too. Well, first, before introducing the university, I'm going to make you a question. And I don't know if you heard sometimes anyone telling you that education is an activity that hasn't changed a lot since the beginning, since its conception. I've heard this many times, and then that's why I'm showing you a picture of well, in the old times you can see a professor teaching some pupils, some students surrounding him. You cannot see here any device, any technology, anything except paper, Nepacus, or something else, right? If we come to the present, these are some pictures from our university, from Pompeu Fabra University and our management school. You will see that well, we have different type of classrooms, plenary classrooms with more than 100 people, and then also seminars with maybe 20, 25 people. You'll see here that we are using, and the students are using, professor students, we are using a lot of technology. We are using microphones, we are using videos. Well, there has been a change during all this time. But my question is, well, and now what? My question is, do you think that in COVID lockdown will accelerate changes and transformation in education? This is a question that I think that many people is doing right now, and I'm trying to give you my my opinion at the end. Okay, maybe you can think about it too, and at the end we can talk about it again. Well, concerning to our school, our management school, well, we are, as Carmen said, we are a young business school, management school. We were founded in 1993, and we were founded by Universitat Pompeu Fabra University, and some relevant important corporations. Universitat Pompeu Fabra University is a well-run university, as you can see here in 2019, in Times Higher Education rank. We were placed first in Spain, 15th in Europe, and number 57 globally in business and economics. And in Young Universities ranking, the same year, we were placed 11th worldwide. So it's a really well-run university with a lot of reputation. And we are the business school linked with the university, but we have autonomous management. And we offer basically postgraduate courses and master degrees and continuous education courses, executive education and so on, tailored programs. So since 1995, we are a member of eucen. So we know each other for a long time, and as Carmen said, well, now we are partners in projects, but we have a long relationship. And but we are also active members of other well-known international networks like well, EFMD or EECSB or other well-known networks. So since 1995 till now, many things have happened, but I'm going to focus in the last month because, well, last period of time, because in September 2019, we started a 90-day transformation, a rapid transformation process. I'm going to explain you about it. It was a 90 days process, so it's really fast, but effective, I think. And then we finished this process at, well, in December, and then in March we had the COVID lockdown. So this last period has been quite active and hectic. So I'm going to explain, first of all, the rapid transformation process, and then later on I'm going to talk about the COVID lockdown. First of all, why we started this process, with this rapid transformation process? Well, things that we identified some issues that the school had in the past, and then we converted these issues into challenges. And here you can see some of these challenges. You have a list of them. For example, we needed to improve the social impact, satisfaction, and trust of the stakeholders. We thought that we needed to innovate faster the program portfolio. Revenues were growing, but slower than we expected. So we needed to increase also the revenues. And one or two more important things. The first one is that we thought that we needed to build a stable faculty beyond the adjunct stable that we already had, because the decisions in the school were unbalanced, and we needed more academic participation. So this, and another challenge was that we were well ranked in national accreditations, or we had good national accreditations, but we missed international accreditations, and we couldn't, because of this, we couldn't be in rankings. So this was another challenge. So, sorry. Well, and then another important thing, a key factor of this process, Ordine detected that, well, identified that we had an urgency, which was that the sector was moving faster than us. So we needed to change, to transform our management school urgently. So this is why we decided to implement a rapid transformation process. So first of all, we set up a new strategic map or plan. The plan was divided in three different dimensions. And the first dimension, I'm going to explain you a little bit how this, this plan and then the development of the process. The three dimensions were to be excellent in people, the first dimension. So we thought that we needed to have faculty staff with 5 dimensions, which was the PhD or real life experience, research, teaching, knowledge transfer, and management. So academics, faculty that could do all these 5 activities. that's why we hired some new staff. We hired 5 associate deans for faculty, for research, for knowledge transfer between others, and then a head of studies. This was very important to empower the faculty. And then we also hired a new managing director to be also excellent in management and administrative stuff. So the second dimension was to be excellent in process. So we thought that if we wanted to be successful, we needed to be accredited by national and international agencies. So we started several accreditation processes. And lately we had some good news because we were accredited by the National Quality Agency. All our programs were accredited. We had some programs accredited before, but now all the programs in the school are accredited by the national agency. Some month ago, we had the news. We had good news because we were also eligible for EQUIS accreditation, and we passed also the EOCS for online programs accreditation. So we are working in this dimension with good results. And the last dimension was to generate outcomes and to generate social impact. That's why we set up several strategic lines in line with the UPF, also the University, Pompeu Fabra University, in order to make research and knowledge transfer in these strategic lines. For example, plant well-being, culture, ethics, and others. And we also implemented we are implementing several social impact metrics. We just applied BSIS assessment methodology, and we are assessing our social integrated value. So we need also to identify, to calculate, and we also want to communicate our social impact. So these were the 3 main dimensions, more relevant dimensions. And as I told you before, we had to do this really fast. So we had a 9-day calendar. We started in December. The kickoff meeting was in December 2019, but we started before. In July, we created 19 rapid response teams. We created a support office and an executive team to manage all the process. And then in September, as I told you before, September 2nd, we started the process. Then every monthly, we had a meeting. And for example, in October, we had the first meeting. We identified strengths and weaknesses of the school. Then in November, we identified innovative solutions for these weaknesses. And then in December, we did the closing meeting. And from this, we approved 456 innovative solutions. And we already implemented, before closing the year, we already implemented 88 of them. I'm going to show you some of them, but these were measures that we had been already working on them, so we could implement them quite fast, or these were easy measures to implement. So here you have a list, in red, the ones that I think that maybe are more remarkable. For me, one of the most remarkable ones is, for example, is a new logo that we changed using in-house talent. So it was someone from the management school who designed the new logo, and then we had no cost of implementing this measure. But you have many other measures that we implemented in this 88 out of 400 measures implemented before closing the year. Well, before going to the next stage, let me tell you that this was a process that we started before knowing that COVID would hit us in 2020. Well, I think that we didn't know it, but it helped us, I think, because people in school was really engaged, really motivated, and I think that this helped us to afford the COVID lockdown. During this lockdown, well, as Aune explained before, I think we had the lockdown. The authorities blocked the normal activity in March 13th. I think it was in March 13th. So up from this moment, we set up 4 school priorities that we tried to follow or to accomplish during all this period. And we are trying to, because we are still in lockdown. The first one was to keep schools community healthy, safe, and communicated. This was the most important one. And I'm going to explain you the measures that we took, that we are taking to accomplish these priorities. The second one was to keep the academic and managerial activities ongoing. The third one was to ensure that students have the best training possible and the best professional preparation experience too. And as COVID was is a global pandemic, we thought that we had to contribute to tackle the effects of COVID in the society. Well, before going to these challenges and the measures, let me explain you too that in the beginning we made some changes to our organizational structure. We did this in order to accommodate the organization to these challenges. So we created a new online department, and then we also created a institutional communication department with a crisis cabinet and one journalist specialist in crisis communication was managing is managing this department. So this was one of the first things that we did. Then regarding health, safety, and communication priorities, first we created a health and safety commission, which is the commission in charge of all the measures related with health, safety, and in our building, and it's also in charge of the deconfinement plan. They are working on this deconfinement plan. And we also created a COVID crisis communication cabinet, as I told you before, journalists leading it. And this communication cabinet was in charge of all the information posted on the website, campus, newsletters, social media. Then the dean was also very active, sending messages to the community. Also the rector of the university, of Pompeu Fabra University. And we also during all this period, this lockdown period, we have celebrated several plenary online meetings with all the staff of the business school and also the faculty. So regarding the academic activities, well, we since the beginning, almost all the programs, face-to-face programs, were converted to remote. So 57 programs. There were some exceptions, but few of them. All the programs, almost all the programs, went to remote. Then we had face-to-face executive education and some tailored programs were postponed, but we created, we converted this face-to-face executive education to online education, which was launched during this period. And we also launched short specialized online programs enforce or offer. And finally, we advance the starting days of some online programs that would have to start in January, and then we change them from January till to October. Well, regarding the teaching tools, which I think that it was really important to offer to support faculty and students in order to be comfortable in this new environment. Well, we optimize Moodle. We add new resources, tutorials, recommendations. So Moodle was our platform before COVID lockdown, but we enforced the Moodle. And then we synchronized two more applications, Blackboard Collaborate and Kaltura. We synchronized them to Moodle. And for example, during this period, we've been running more than 3,000 hours of classes through Collaborate, Blackboard Collaborate, and during this period, also more than almost 7,000 videos were posted in Kaltura, were made using Kaltura. So a lot of activity related with these tools to teach and to learn on remote. Well, concerning to the students' experience and feedback, for the moment, the feedback of our students is being good, and I would say really good. I think that well, there are maybe some issues with international students because they like a lot to be in Barcelona, and for them the experience of being in Barcelona was very important. They had to go back. We have students from 49 different nationalities, different time lines, so it's not always easy to manage this, but we are doing the best, and for the moment they're engaged, and I'm happy with the experience. We also offer a remote professional career service to the students. Some of them they continued the internship remotely, so that they have all the services. And finally, we also launch an additional service package to our students. There were a lot of, well, many advantages. I just wrote some of them. One of them was free access to online specialized courses. More than 900 students are enrolled in these courses. It says 800, but nowadays it's more than 900. Well, we gave them also access to student service 1 more year, for example, students card, professional career services, communication lab, other. And we also offered them to come to face-to-face classes next year if they had to do them remote this course. So we'll give them the opportunity to come again next year. This is subject to some conditions, but well, space in the room, in the classroom, but we will afford it for sure. And well, last but not least, we also, as I told you before, we thought that this was a real challenge for the society too, and then we thought that we should contribute to the society. We created a COVID observatory with expert opinions, school experts' opinions. Then we also promote solidarity initiative of members of our community, alumni and professors, and we promote them. And we broadcast more than 25 webinars on rethinking management. Today there is one of them, I think at this time. And one important thing, in my opinion, is that we increased the number and amount of scholarships and we are working to create new type of scholarships for next course. And then, sorry, I went back. And then concerning to the operational measures, just a small list of things that we've done. Well, we have, I mean, we are lucky to have operational staff. They've worked a lot and really hard to facilitate and to support the remote teaching and the school activity to move on and not to stop. I don't want to tell you all the departments and areas that they have contributed to this, because I would miss someone and it would be a pity. But I put here a list of actions that they did, that they're crucial to maintain our activity. And for example, I will give you an example, which is the people that are still in the building. We had some people working in the building with following all the rules and all the healthy and sanitary rules, but they were working and they were preparing our campus for the lockdown or the confinement. Let's see when it is, but we will be prepared. As you know, there are some recent news from other universities that they are planning to maintain online education next course. In our case, I'm going to explain you which are our plans. Concerning the academic activities, we plan to start in September 2020. Few exceptions. Some courses will be postponed till January, but few of them. And we'll do the same than University of Tartu, if I understood well, because we'll combine face-to-face and remote classes simultaneously. So there will be from same subject groups in a classroom and groups at home, and we'll try to combine both at the same time. We have the school prepared for this, or we are preparing it, but we'll plan to do this. And concerning to the managerial activities, well, we plan to start in June 2020. It's subject to the authorization of the national authorities, but the thing is that we'll do different stages according to the employee's personal situation, and then also following the strict sanitary and protection measures like mask, gel, and others. This is our plan, and just now I'm going to finish with the question that I did you in the beginning. I was telling you that I would give you my thoughts about what will happen after COVID lockdown. Well, I think that we'll see this picture more often than before. This is a picture of a school, a business school, management school that has already implemented TV sets, and you can see the professor and all the students. The professor is teaching live worldwide students. So we are assessing the possibility to install one of these TV sets in our school. That's why I'm sharing this with you, and I think this is my foreseen for the future. Maybe we'll see these TV sets in our management school and universities in a few years. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any doubts or comments, please tell me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ramon. It's been a very thorough and interesting presentation. I think you have given us a very comprehensive presentation of what has been for you since last year and how you have changed your center, management school, and then how the COVID-19 has actually affected also to implement even more changes that you had started. So it's fine. And now I think that it would be good if Aune could join us. Perfect. And maybe, yes, because you are very much in the middle. Like this is better, isn't it? Because while you were presenting, we've collected a few questions. I have a few questions for Aune. And let me...
I see the questions, and you can read the question or I can start answering.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning, from the top. Balazs has asked what rate of e-learning development has in the budget of Tartu's university.
Mm-hmm. Very good question, actually. I started to calculate first time because we never have this one line for e-learning. We have as I said, we have 4 educational technologists working as to support the people. Then, of course, there are some stuff that is difficult to count, whether they just support e-learning or they just support all digital kind of operation of the university. But anyway, there are a few other additional people who are mainly concentrating on technical support in e-learning. Plus, there are licenses for some, all the different tools and environments. We say that we are spending not more than 300,000, which is around 0.1% of our budget. So it's very little, actually, directly to the e-learning. So that's for the first question, I think.
Yes. Then Emilia Kramarenko is asking what you might recommend to those universities that base their teaching activation on face-to-face sessions, the basic steps to take.
My first recommendation would be certainly to hire educational technologists, to hire people who are supporting teachers in all that. And of course you need technology also, but I think technology is a secondary. It's you need to motivate, to support and to help teachers to do the first steps. So it's not just enough to provide training, but I think teachers also need real help in the beginning. So that's, I think, the most critical. But I don't know, I was wondering that maybe Ramon also would like to answer the same questions. What is your e-learning budget and how to start? It would be interesting to know.
We cannot hear you, Ramon.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, we have some learning programs. I would say that, as I told you before, we created the department during this period just to manage this. I don't have an exact amount of, but I would say that the percentage in the total could be maybe 30-35% of the total revenue I think in learning. So maybe I'm sure that after this COVID lockdown it will increase a lot with the changes that we did in our portfolio. And concerning to this to the second question, which are the steps? Well, I can give you my view. I can explain our experience. What we did is we started. Well, we had some programs that they work really well in face-to-face, and then we started giving some subjects, some parts of these programs online. So not all the program or all the master degree, but we had different models, and then we started giving transforming these models to online, and at the end we had all the master degree in online. So we did this some time ago, and it worked quite well.
Okay, thank you very much. Then the next question is from Manuel Costa. Can you comment on your university's strategies and success in the digital transformation of faculty members that are somewhat uncomfortable or reluctant with digital technologies? That is interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, it would be good to know because, as I said many times before, we didn't have this compulsory strategy before, and I do know that our another university in Estonia, Tallinn Technical University, they a few years ago had this strategy that all compulsory courses must have e-learning support in Moodle. So that's one strategy, but we didn't have this strategy, and actually these teachers that were reluctant, they were left in peace until now. And only this crisis, I mean, you must use this good crisis, as many people say, for the good purposes. And but even this crisis situation, I think there were some teachers who were sort of waiting and hoping that maybe it will go over and they will somehow, I don't know, manage, and they just give more reading to the students. But I think quite quickly they understood that it's not working, and what was critical elements was colleagues, close colleagues who were better in e-learning. Then we had open seminars. It was not training, it was just few-hour seminars where the basic tools were introduced, and in this e-learning environment, because I think everybody still is able to enter the seminar room. And then after that, it was possible to get personal help from the educational technologist. From the seminar, if you had an idea what you want to do, then you could ask from the educational technologist to really help individually to redesign your course. So that's why I was so much stressing this educational technologist support importance.
Okay, very good. I don't know if both of you could actually say something about the e-exams, because I actually am in close contact with academics, and some of them are really very worried about students copying and security, quality, and how am I going to do this to ensure that. So what can you say about e-exams? And this is some question that Tamer Atabarut from Turkey was asking.
Mm-hmm. We have 3 strategies what we are recommending. The first one, and that is most widely used, certainly I think majority of the teachers use that, is to design or redesign the exam in the way that there is no point of copying from the book or from the course student. So it's, I mean, you can do the exam materials open, and that's, I mean, the exam that demonstrates how you think and whether you understand it. But of course, it's not possible in all cases. And then we have 2 other ways. One is sort of a homemade way. There we use 2 programs. One is SafeX and browser that allows you to lock the screen of the computer, so you can't do anything else in the computer. And then we use BBB, what is the big blue button, what is a seminar tool, where you can actually follow the group of students, like here in Zoom, actually, you could follow, I don't know, 10 or we have understood that you can follow 12 students altogether. It's not more possible, more students, but that's possible. And the third way is we are almost managed to sign an agreement to and bought license for software called Proctorio. There are different software proctoring the exams. There are a lot of questions related to the protection of data and your personal data. So that's why it appeared to be very difficult. But yes, these are the ways we are using.
Ramon?
Well, in our case, well, first of all, I think that face-to-face, in face-to-face situation, it is also very difficult to protect the exams and to make sure that students don't copy, because nowadays, I mean, with technology, cell phones, they have a lot of things. So it's in a normal situation, this would be also difficult. But I think that in this situation nowadays, it's almost more difficult. It's more difficult. Well, in our case, what we did is, first of all, we use technology tools that we have. So there are different applications in Moodle and well, we use Moodle for e-exams that they give you the option to make the exam more difficult to copy. So we explain to all the faculty all these applications. We send them tutorials and they have this information. And then second, we we also changed the typology of the questions on the exam. We changed a little bit the typology in line of what Aune said, that well, there are certain questions that maybe are easier to copy, and other type of questions that are more difficult. And then if you have, for example, you have the possibility to prepare more questions than the questions that they will see, and they have different exams each student. So I think that there are we had a good solutions for these situations.
Okay, thanks. The next question, and I think that maybe we'll have to stop here because there is some technical thing that we need to do with the next presenters before we carry on. But there is a question from Rob Mark, and he's asking, he's saying that while e-learning is useful and a useful way of learning, perhaps there is this lack of the face-to-face learning where students interact and work together and have contact with people. And so is there a possibility that the students might not develop communication skills for working in the real world afterwards if they only have like distance education and e-learning education?
Hi, Rob, first. I'm sorry I don't see you, but it's very nice to hear about you. I do agree totally. I think there are certainly some specialists, and actually we are worried a little bit about not just these specialists, but I think also IT students need communication skills. So I think if it would be totally e-learning, I mean, forever, it's not just for 2 months or 3 months, then it's I think something to be worried about. But currently we are still hoping that we can return partly maybe to the normal life in fall, which means that maybe the video lectures will be still online, but the seminars or small group learning can be returned to the classroom. So, but currently we have been taking this as an opportunity, because I think the ones learning to be teachers, they also have to learn how to practice and how to support students in this kind of situation, in the e-learning situation. And also the social workers actually have to, I mean, the elderly people had to stay at home. So I think they also have to know the tools, how to support elderly people in this kind of situation. So we took this crisis as an opportunity to learn for these specialists also. But of course, it's good to have this situation for 3 months, not for 3 years.
Yes. Totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think that we need to close the first part of the seminar at the moment, and I thank you very much, Aune and Ramon. I think that your presentations have been really interesting and have given us a lot of ideas. And we'll do a small break for 5 minutes, more or less. If you have still questions, please put them on the question and answer list, because what I was thinking we could do is we'll share these questions with the presenters, and after the seminar we'll give them some time to answer these questions, and we'll circulate it to all the participants. Okay? So,
okay, thank you.
Okay, very good. So we close now. We'll have a break. Please don't leave the seminar, because we'll come back very, very soon.